so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads. Welcome to a very special episode dedicated to none other than you, the pea heads themselves. I am your pea head enthusiast and hostess for the day, Alexa Hauser. I have been blessed to have the experience of helping out with Positive Head social media for the better part of a year. And through my digital interactions, I began to realize, as did Brandon, that we have some incredible beings listening to this show who are taking the information that Brandon puts out through the podcast and using it to transform their lives and create wonderful things. You listeners are all a huge, huge part of the life force that propels this show forward through time and space, and we think it's time to bring forth some of you beautiful reflections and delve a little deeper into this collection of energy that is the Positive Head community. So as we shine the spotlight on our listeners, what we'll have them do is share their stories of how they attracted Positive Head into their life, the transformation it's facilitated for them, and what they're focused on creating now that they're in a more positive headspace. Also, this episode of the Positive Head podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Hello, all you positive heads. On this week's Pea Head Posse episode, our guest is Positive Head listener Tori Carlson. Tori is a new artist focused on bringing light and love through her artwork to the world using found materials and scrap to spread love, color, and warmth to all. She's been on a spiritual journey since the age of 16 after her first card reading received from a family friend, and recently felt a new shift happening within, especially after joining the Positive Head community. Hi, Tori. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Alexa. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to do this. And I'm looking forward to having this conversation. Why don't you tell us, a little bit about yourself? Just like give us your story.
All right. Well, loaded question.
You're like, how long you got?
I know. I never really grew up in a religious home. My dad was very free will on whatever you wanted to believe in. So I never went to church, never experienced any of that. So I kind of feel grateful for being able to have my mind not be pointed in a certain direction in my younger childhood. As I got older, I suffered from depression and anxiety. A lot of people do. And I was introduced to these family friends of mine, to my Nana, who offered me a card reading one night, and it was just the most random thing in the entire world. They offered me a card reading. It ended up lasting like 2.5 to 3 hours just talking about, just talking about basically almost my entire life. I was told that I'm a very old soul. I've been reincarnated multiple times. I was told that I'm a light worker. And so after receiving all of that information, I've really taken it to heart since the age of 16 and just tried educating myself on being an empath, on healing with energy and love. I do a little bit of crystal work, and I've been doing some card readings since about that age. And it's just been a really big journey for me, especially in the past couple of years. Kind of seems like you go through a second awakening after the first awakening. Yeah. And I definitely feel that right now in my life.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because I feel like most of us in this group, I mean, I know for myself, like I didn't wake up until just a couple years ago, and I'm 31 now. So, to wake up at like 16, I mean, I know Brandon always talks about that. Like, I think Brandon had a pretty early awakening, but what was that like to receive all that information at that age? Did it resonate with you? Were you like, oh yeah? And also, what was it like socially?
it resonated me with really deeply at first. I really took it in. I was like, oh my gosh, this is answering so many questions. Like, I kind of feel like I have all these answers to why I like feel everyone's emotions all the time, why I'm like constantly, labeling it feeling bipolar, but it's more of just feeling everyone's energies and not being able to, filter them through and knowing which ones are yours and which ones are other people's. Yeah. Being 16, it was really weird because like I was in high school. I was in the middle of being in high school. I feel like after the card reading, I kind of took it to heart and then let it fall to the side a little bit. Got really caught up in regular teenage life. I was partying a lot. And then after graduation, it was really weird. I went through this really big life change. And then out of nowhere, it seemed like everyone had just stopped talking to me. It was kind of like, I kind of feel like it was life in a way filtering out the people who weren't going to be on my vibration in the near future. Because after everyone just kind of like stopped, I was by myself for a really long time. And that's when I really started diving into meditating and rocks and incense and crystals and all of this just metaphysical stuff. And I started just meditating a lot more. I really felt myself waking up, and I started meeting new people. And I met an old friend of mine, Carly, and she really delved into this with me. And I feel like we really helped each other bring each other to light, especially in the female sense with female sisterhood energy, which I was lacking a lot throughout my life. So I feel like now it's really introduced me to so many people who, see the world through my eyes, and like, I just love it.
Yeah.
I really love being able to communicate with, people who kind of see and feel things the way I do.
Yeah, no, so do I. And no, I'm with you on that. Just like having this community is, I can't imagine. Well, that's why I was asking about like what it was like when you were 16, because I can't imagine going through what I've been going through for the past couple of years, especially, and like not having this community, because this community, the Positive Head community, wow, I can't say that word. Community has been so like essential to my growth and to my support. So, it's just interesting I just feel like a lot of the people I talk to, it's just been a very recent thing. So it's interesting to me that, you had that experience so early. So in your intro, you said you're a new artist. And is that something you just got into? And it sounds like you do some interesting art.
Yeah. I have always had like a pull towards doing art, painting, drawing, all of that stuff. But I like to say my ego held me back a lot, where I was judging my artwork. Everything had to be perfect, and it wasn't coming out perfect, so I had to start over. And it was kind of defeating at first. I wasn't letting myself just enjoy the creativity of it. Actually, just recently, when I started listening to Positive Head, which is maybe about 3 months ago, it clicked in my head. I don't know what it was. Something just clicked in my head, and I knew what I wanted to paint. I knew like what I wanted it to look like. Making like little mistakes on my art wasn't a big deal to me. I was creating it into something else. So I call myself a new artist because I don't want to take away from other people's progress that they put into their art as well. But yeah, I started out by just taking scraps of wood. Like, we had this wood, almost ladder looking thing sitting in our backyard for weeks. And one day I just looked at it and I was like, I'm going to paint that. So I picked it up. I've been working on it ever since. It's really cool. It has like all these different layers of color and kind of just different perceptions of life in my eyes, at least,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found a piece of scrap wood off someone's lawn the other day. They were giving it away. I went over there and asked them if I could have it. They said, yeah. So that's really been my focal point on my artwork, is taking things that, people aren't using anymore, things that would just be thrown away, and kind of turning it and transforming it into something, beautiful and light and just loving.
See, this is so crazy. This is such a synchronicity. Like I'm just realizing now, because going back to what you were talking about in the beginning, when like you were, like really judging your art and being like, it's not perfect, it's not right. That's like a phase that I've been going through for the past like year or so pretty intensely, where like I was so creative as a child. I was always drawing things, and I was really like anything artistic, like I was great at. And it was like I was always creating these characters and all kinds of things. And then like I got into a painting phase when I was in college, and then I got into like a sculpting phase. Like I went through phases with like things that I was into with art. And then like weirdly, this is weird. There's like a painting in my living room. It's a watercolor painting. It's just of an eye. It's like of a human eye. And every person who comes in goes, who did that? And I go, me. And they go, how did you do that? And I go, I have no idea, because this watercolor painting literally came out of me one night. And all I remember is, it was like a few years ago. And all I remember is that I was so angry about something that I couldn't even speak. Like I didn't even know what to do. I was so angry, and something was like, go get that brush. And it just like formed itself. And anyway, it's this incredible painting that I don't know how I painted. But so then after that, at some point, I just started getting really hung up, and like I keep having these urges to create something, and I keep judging myself and being like, no, it's not good enough. No, that's not good enough. And then recently, like literally within the past few days, I keep getting these same instincts that you're talking about. That's like, well, what isn't being used that you can reuse? And like, what is like, there's so much like trash all around. There's so much, like literally exactly what you're talking about. And this popped into my head too. I was telling someone about this the other day, how I saw recently this woman, she had all this debt, and she like had like $4,000 of something to pay back. And she was an artist, but like she had no idea what to do. She wasn't selling any art. So then one day she realized that she had like so many financial bills, like just bills and bills and bills, like just piles of these bills. So she took the bills and she cut them up, and she basically like created this like giant canvas, and like kind of made it like textured so that it was like a 3D kind of canvas, and used the bills, like cut them all up and created like a skull pattern. Like when you look at this canvas from afar, it looks like this amazing, like beautiful skull. And
oh my God,
it's made up of all the bills, and she sold it for like $5,000 because it's such a unique piece, and she paid off her debt. And I was like, that is genius. Like that is so
amazing.
Yeah.
No, that really is. That's really beautiful, actually. And there's a lot of like, it's really symbolic, actually, that she took all of her bills, cut them all up, and she turned it into a skull picture. Because, obviously we all feel very like locked in and trapped, and bills can really weigh us down, So she really took that emotion and put it into her art. That is so crazy.
Totally. And like, oh my gosh, totally. And I keep thinking, that keeps popping in my head, and I'm like, what can I do like that? Because I feel like there's so many ways you can translate that same idea. There's so many things that we have laying around that we just like accumulate that we're like, why do we even have this? And it's like, we can build so many, art. I feel like, and I also feel like art right now is like, I don't know. It's like, it's so expressive. It's like, I mean, art obviously has always been a big, it's like the art world and the art selling and buying world. It's like a bit, it's like a big thing for money and people, investments and stuff. But just the expression of art, and like, I don't know, it's becoming so fascinating to me, and it's becoming so important to me personally. And just like seeing how everyone expresses themselves, how everyone can express themselves from nothing, like just like you're saying, like you found a piece of wood and you like made it beautiful. And, you know, I mean, wood is beautiful, but like, you know what I mean? You put your own touch. Yeah. So, no, I think like, it's just cool that you're popping up in my reality with this like message that this is what you've started doing, because I feel like I keep getting that tap on the shoulder, and I haven't found the right thing yet. So. Yeah.
I definitely think something is trying to push you in that direction, considering the synchronicities.
Yes.
You should definitely just go with your gut. You know, the next thing you see, if you get that feeling, just pick it up and go for it. That's what I've been doing, and I've never done that before in my life. You know, I've always been a very timid person. I've always been very anxious and like always worrying that people are going to judge me. And it's just recently that I'm realizing I can pick up anything and do whatever I want with it and make it beautiful and make it love, you know. And I'm seeing that, like you said, so much more now. Like you said, the art is, I feel like it's becoming, it's so much more popular. Like everyone is doing art nowadays, no matter what it is, whether it's makeup or it's sculpting or it's painting, drawing, whatever. I'm seeing it more and more on Instagram, on Facebook, and it's really beautiful watching everybody start to express themselves more.
Totally. And what you made me think of as you were talking about that is that art, like it's been occurring to me that art is like, it's energy captured, you know, it's like captured energy. It's like, and that's why with the example I gave you about this watercolor, you know, painting that I made that's in the living room, it's like, that's why whenever people walk in, they immediately ask about it, because it's obviously some very intense energy, you know, that was like captured. Like, I think I channeled my anger in that moment and turned it into something like, it was like intense creativity coming out of me, you know? But it's really cool to think about it that way too. It's like art carries energy. Like, I love thinking about this. I love thinking about how, you know, everything is made up of energy. And when you think about it in the way of like that art, no matter what it is, whether it's painting, a photograph, like a drawing, like you said, a sculpture, it's some being taking creative energy and flowing that specific form of energy to that physical manifestation and bringing it into existence. It's basically like birthing something, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's literally instantaneous manifestation in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
It's art is one thing. If you can manifest anything, but like if you want to create something, it's always there. It's not, you know, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easy to do, you know, it's always there. You could always create something and manifest what you want through that. It's interesting you're saying about your eye drawing, that you kind of just like went into this like meditated state. You don't really like remember doing that. It kind of reminded me of the story a few weeks ago, maybe about like a month and a half ago. I had decided to take LSD, and I have done that before in my past. I've always actually done it with people and never just have taken it and been by myself.
Yeah.
And at the time I was having some energy blockage in my root chakra. I could really feel it. My feet were hurting. I was kind of feeling sick, and it was just kind of like this longing for home kind of feeling that was going on, and it was this weird energy block. So I decided to take LSD, and I spent the entire daytime. I took it during the day. I spent the entire daytime in my backyard, which is pretty big. It has beautiful grass. It's a very beautiful backyard, and I just painted. And I came out with this painting that I have it hanging on my wall. I'm looking at it right now. It's a red lotus flower that has designs within it. And then there's green vines growing out from under the red lotus flower and like a yellow energy circle floating above it. And I just remember feeling just so serene painting it. It was like, I don't know, painting the beauty of my root chakra in a way. And it really like helped myself center myself back to my home, you know, my roots.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it just art holds so much energy within it, and I can definitely like feel that when I look at this painting, and I can imagine with your eye painting as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And yeah, every time I do psychedelics, actually, I always start with like painting or drawing or something because it like gets me it like makes me relax. And also it's like it's such a perfect way to like go into it. And that's awesome. I hope you send me a picture of that after we get off here. But,
I would love to.
yeah, but you were that made me think of when I got back from Burning Man last year. It was the first time I went to Burning Man, and I had such a transformative experience. But something that I became really aware of when I got back was that I was really like blocked, just like you're talking about, you're blocked in your root chakra. Like I was really blocked in my sacral chakra, which I think a lot of us are. But really blocked with like my sexuality, like just a lot of like shame and a lot of just stuff that I've been going through the past few years. And you know, like Burning Man is so like there's so much going on there in that area, and it just brought a lot like to the surface for me. So when I came home, I suddenly had this very clear image in my head that I should start painting. It's like, I'm laughing about it now, but I mean, I know there's like probably artists that do whole series on this, but I thought I was like, I got this idea that I should start painting like, these like, I don't know how to describe it, flowers, right? But then like putting them in between like women's legs. Like, so like, I just like, it was like, I think it was like a healing for me because it was like, it was trying to, or I was trying to show myself or like correct my image of like that image. It's like, it's not like a dirty, like vile thing. It's like this beautiful, like flower, really, like truly. And so I literally think I like was healing myself through doing that without even really realize why I was doing it. It's so cool. Like, it's so cool when you look back and realize like, oh, I like really needed to paint that, or I really needed to draw that, or like, you know?
Yeah, I actually really resonate with that because I actually practically did the same thing. I came home one day, and this is, I think, one of the first paintings I did, and it turned out looking like women's parts. It turned out looking like a vagina. It's beautiful, though. Yeah. Like, I didn't even mean to do it, but like I felt like I was channeling like this woman-like energy that was so beautiful and just so powerful that it just came out looking like this. And I looked at it, and of course I giggled to myself. I was like, "What did I just create?" I was like, everyone's going to know what this is. Yeah. But looking at it every day, it's so beautiful. And it's kind of, I feel like what I channeled my energy, like what my woman energy is into this painting, you know? So I really like resonate with you wanting to paint flowers in between women's legs. It's so beautiful because we really should beautify our sexuality and our beauty in general, because women get a lot of backslash. Oh my gosh,
backlash!
I can't even figure it out. Yeah,
it's okay. I was the same way with community, so it's fine with the word community. Yeah, women get it. So as soon as you said that, I just thought of this video that's been going around the past few days of this woman. Oh gosh, I wish I could just play it here. I can't, but she was so like everyone was sharing it because this girl was just so in her power, and this guy was doing interviews and was like basically trying to like slut shame her, and she was just so, oh gosh, I have to send you this after we get off, and I have to like post this in the group because it was just so empowering. This girl was just like, she just knew her stuff and just like, you know, was just so in her power, and it was really cool. Yeah. Like, it's really cool to see that there are women who do know how to talk about themselves and do understand their power and aren't afraid to talk about it in public anymore. Like, I mean, we still have like a long way to go, I think, but it's
definitely. I really want to see that video though. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, you will really like it. It's making me sorry right now just thinking about it. And yeah, cool. Well, so speaking of, how did you, sorry, I don't know why I said speaking of. We weren't speaking of this, but how did you find the podcast? You said you only found it 3 months ago. That's like Yeah. How did you find it?
Very recent. Yeah. So I started this new job. I really feel like actually this is all a huge synchronicity for me, finding this podcast.
Yeah.
So I work at a government building in Chatsworth, and I used to go to a weed dispensary that down the street from there. And I just remember driving past there every single time and staring at this building. Like, this was before I got the job. I would stare at this building and be like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's just something in that building that like made me stare at it. Like, I can't even put it into words.
Wow.
It was just like fascinated or like interested in whatever what is going on there. So flash forward. Yes, see. I go through a job agency and I end up getting this job at this government building that I've been so intrigued about. While getting the job, I start and it's a desk job. So I'm sitting at my desk all day. I really like it because I can listen to music throughout the day, but I really did feel myself becoming super drained, and I've never really had an interest in podcasts. I don't know why. It just has never popped into my head. And then randomly one day at work, I was sitting there listening to my music. I was like, I need to change things up. So I Googled, or I didn't even Google, I just went on Spotify and I just searched the word positive. That's all I put in. It was positive. And I saw Positive Heads pop up. I saw the little icon, and the icon for Positive Heads on Spotify is what really pulled me in. And so I started listening. I can't remember what episode I started with, but I just remember hearing Brandon's voice. And I know people say this a lot. I just remember hearing Brandon's voice, and it was like the most like happiest, like upbeat, like, I love you. We're all amazing. We're all one. It was so positive. And from that day on, I can't go a day at work without listening to it. And it's really, I feel like that is what helped me channel this artistic energy within me, because I was starting art before I was listening to Positive Head, but I didn't really like blast into it until a few episodes in the Positive Head. And like his voice, like everything he just talks about resonates with me, and it's really changed the way I think about the world and the way I've been thinking about myself. I've always victimized myself. And I really feel like in the past 3 months, I've really worked on not victimizing myself and, just realizing, everything happens for a reason, and where I'm at right now is beautiful. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for the things that I've had to go through. And I wouldn't know what I know,
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally resonate with you on that, and that's awesome to hear. I mean, what is it like to work, if you work in a government building? What is that like? Like being in such, I just get interested. Like, what is it like to be? It kind of feels like in that situation you have a foot in both worlds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too, actually, because I go to work and it's total office setting. Everyone is, very serious about their job. And it's funny, I'll sit at my desk. I have like a little office room, and then outside the room, there's cubicles. So I'll sit at my desk. My desk is right next to the door, and I'll be listening to Positive Heads podcast, or listening to some of this new music I've found through Brandon. And I'll just like be dancing at my desk, or like just smiling, or like laughing about something that was said on the podcast. I feel like I definitely nowadays walk around more with a big smile on my face. I do feel like that in a good way affects the people around me. I get a lot more smiles back when I'm walking down like hallways and stuff. And a lot of people will just say hi to me out of nowhere, which like wasn't really happening before. And I feel like since listening to Positive Head and kind of really focusing on my vibration and my thought processes and stuff, I've changed like the way people are looking at me, it's more of like, I want to say hi to her instead of like, I need to go back to work and I don't want to be here type of thing,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that image that you just put out there, or put into my head, because it feels like that's kind of, so something that's been coming up for me, like on the outside or not the outside circle, something that's coming up for me in certain areas of my life are people one like is my cousin who I'm very close to, who's 6 years younger than me. Another is actually, this is a weird story. Another is a listener named Emily, who Emily, I really hope it's okay that I'm like kind of sharing this very briefly. But so one of the listeners actually, this is really weird. I used to babysit her. We're next door neighbors, and all our like childhood. And I used to babysit her when our parents would go out. And then I haven't seen her in like 12 years or something like that. And then a few months ago, I saw her post in Positive Heads, like and I'm just like, what? And we reconnected, and we just we've been like, she just moved back to Philly where I live, and now we've been going to like all kinds of like workshops together and all kinds of stuff that like have to do with spirituality and personal development and all that stuff. But anyway, we were just at a workshop together the other night, and she was, she's going through being in a very corporate environment, but having the feeling like she needs, just like she's working in like a healthcare, like insurance company, like just like a big corporate, and it's very hard for her right now. Like it's just like her heart is like hurting. Like she wants to be free of that. She wants to be in another, and it's the same type of thing going on where it's like one foot in that world, but like one foot in this world. And I think, and my cousin, as I mentioned earlier, like she's 6 years younger than me, and she's kind of going through the same thing. And I've met like a couple other people who are going through the same thing. And so it just makes me so happy to hear, your experience and the way that you describe it, because instead of letting the environment make you feel like you have to conform or, be as everyone else is being, it's like you are truly like raising your vibration, and you are actually being the light there for other people. And it's so awesome to think about, because I feel like a lot of the time it's like, and I'm not judging anyone, like I don't blame anyone for feeling the way they do, because like I totally understand. But I feel like so often like what we're talking about, especially in the group, is like, how do I A, get out of this job, B, like how do I deal with all these people, so, all these things. And for you, it's like I don't know why I haven't even thought about someone really going in there and like just really brightening up other people, by being bright themselves and like being brave enough to hold that vibration.
Yeah. I really can say that I understand, of course, how they feel and how most other people feel when it comes to corporate jobs. Like there are always days, almost every day, at some point I am sitting at my desk and I'm itching to be at home. Like I'm itching to be at home so I can paint, and so I can meditate, and I can listen to music without my headphones in, and I can lay in the grass. I definitely do feel that longing to be free while I'm at work. I feel like the only way I've been able to cope with that is kind of turning the table and like bringing the light into work. Like there are times where I'll take a 15-minute break and I'll go out under this like tree, just like this little tree quad type of thing that is in between our buildings. And I wrote a poem the other day, and I'll go out there and just draw and sketch sometimes, just kind of trying to bring in the outside world that I love into this work world that I kind of have to put up with in a way,
Yeah.
And no doubt, just like everyone else, I'm on that road to trying to figure out a way to, eventually get out of this job and support myself in ways that I love, in ways that I believe in, Definitely just having a job right now is a stepping stone. So I always really do believe in like wanting to make it as positive as possible. It's not always easy, but I do understand how they feel. It's really hard sometimes.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, and the reason I'm kind of so interested as well in that specific experience is because, it has popped into my mind at certain times, like, well, we can't all all of us who are awake, right? We can't all just like go off and start our own, just like be like, bye everybody and go, even as much as we would like to, trust me, I want to, but like, if we all were to just be like, peace out of this world that exists right now, and we go off and just kind of seclude ourselves and live a happy secluded life with just the people who are awake, then how is anyone else going to wake up, and how is anyone else going to be affected? And also I think my one of my teachers, Sonia Sophia, said this when I was at this EFT retreat. She was like, if we did that, we would all get really bored really quick, because like we are here to, the reason we're awake is because now we have a job to do, like a fun job, like a purpose. Now we have a purpose. We have a purpose to be the light, right? To be the light for others, like to shine. So I think it's interesting when I meet people who are so into this world, but who are working in that world, because I think to myself, well, maybe not saying that it's your purpose to be there forever, but maybe, you're supposed to be there right now, because maybe you're helping people. Like, it's possible. Like, it's possible that some people in there really need to see you, like really need to be around you, like really need the light. Like they really need it,
Yeah. And I agree with that so much. I think that's been my biggest struggle over the past few years, is coming to terms with conforming. I would say, I'm not that I want to say that I conform to society or to my government job, but in the past few years, I've had a really bad time keeping a job, because I would go into work, and I was mostly serving at the time, being a waitress. I would go into work and I wouldn't be able to handle all the negativity in the kitchen, all the negativity from guests. It was a lot to hold on to. So I was having a really hard time keeping a foot in my like spiritual, positive, loving world, and then keeping a foot in the job corporate world where I'm trying to make some money. Yeah. So I don't really know where I was going with that, but I do agree that we are all like meant to be at these places. And honestly, if it wasn't for me getting this job, I don't know when I would have been able to find positive heads, because it wouldn't have gone through my mind. So I'm very thankful for where I'm at right now, regardless of, me having to work a 9-to-5 job. But yeah, I think it's a really good thing or positive thing for people to definitely keep in mind that, we're all at certain points of our life for a reason. We're all there to meet people who are around us. I actually read somewhere, I can't remember if it was someone telling me or if I read it, but it was talking about everywhere you go and you meet eye contact with people, a lot of the time, the everyday person will just look away. But there's a reason you're meeting eye contact with that person, and you're either supposed to interact with them, or they're supposed to interact with you, and you're either supposed to end up giving something to them, or you're receiving something from them.
Is this from I'm sorry, the Celestine Prophecy?
I think so. I can't remember specifically right now. It's okay. That's something that's really resonated with me for a really long time.
Yeah, like that we all, well, the reason I bring up the Celestine Prophecy when you said that is because I just finished that book, and a big part of it was basically about that. It was about how every person that you encounter, and they did bring that up about like when you make eye contact with someone, I'm pretty sure that every person that you encounter, is coming into your life, like even someone on the street, they have a message for you. They have a message for you, but most of us don't believe, like most of us are just like, get out of my way, or like, I have somewhere to be, or whatever it is. And we're not looking at life that way. We're not looking and even when we talk to people, we're like, yeah, let me just finish saying what you're saying so that I can say what I'm going to say. Like we're not listening. Like we're not looking for the messages that life is trying to deliver us from every single interaction that we have, essentially. And we're not taking advantage of all the interactions that we could have. It's funny that actually, wow, it's crazy that you brought that up, because yesterday I went to My cousin lives a few blocks from me, the same one I mentioned earlier, and I hadn't seen her in like a week and a half, and we usually see each other a lot. So I went over, it was a Sunday, and I went over to her place, and she has this tiny little stoop in front of her place, and we just decided to sit on the stoop. We've like never done this before. We decided to sit on the stoop, and on this Sunday, for some reason, all these people were just kept walking by, these very interesting people, and this one kid walked by, and he looked really interesting, and he looked at me and my cousin in the eye, and we both stopped talking. It was such an intense stare that I literally felt like a soul recognition just from this. He looked at me and smiled in this way that like he knew me, and I was like, whoa. And then he kept holding the stare, but then he kept walking, and we both looked at each other. We're like, did we know him? And I was like, I don't know. I felt like I don't know what that was. And then it was funny. This homeless man came up, and he told right after that, and he told me, and I had the thought when this homeless man came up, I was like, I could feel like the energy coming off of him, and I was like, oh, he has a message for me. Like I like thought about exactly what we're talking about, and he came up. He was like, "Do you guys like music?" And we were like, "Yeah, we like music." He was like, "Well, I want to share God gave me a gift, and I want to share it." And he's like, But anyway, he ended up singing us this song, and the funny thing was, he wasn't like the best singer, but he was just an average singer, but his soul was so sweet. Like he was so sweet, and I was honestly touched by him, and I was just smiling at him and kind of laughing like out of joy. Like I was just like, oh, like this is fun, like this is funny, like as he was singing, and then he stopped like halfway through, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna stop because. This is funny. He's like, okay, I'm going to stop because you guys are laughing like at my teeth or something like that. And I was like, no. I was like, no, I was really enjoying that. And I was like, here, I was even going to give you money. And then I gave him like a few dollars, and then he looked at me and he was like, oh man, I shouldn't have stopped. I probably could have gotten more. And I was like, and I couldn't even blame him. I was just like, yeah, but it was whatever. I wasn't even going to tell that part of the story. I don't know. There was like some magical little interactions happening. But what I'm saying is it's like even these tiny little interactions, you know, I did get like a meaning, even just from the homeless guy singing in that interaction. I did get like a message from him just from that, because I was like, oh, that's like a reflection of me, like being too self-conscious to finish things out, like ideas that I have that I'm like in the process of creating. It's like I keep getting self-conscious about them and like not pushing them all the way. And like that's exactly what he was doing. You know, that's the message that he had for me. And that's like the beauty like he had for me, like to give to me. And so sorry, this has kind of got sidetracked, but I love the idea that you brought up. It's like that everybody has a message for you if you're willing to look for it, and because life is always trying to answer what you're asking, always. So like, yeah, it's beautiful.
That's really a beautiful story. I love that. I love the thought process of looking at everyone as a reflection of you, which is true. Everyone is a reflection of yourself, and you are a reflection of other people. And it's just amazing that you got to experience this guy just, you know, giving you his joyous soul through music, and seeing him go through that and then resonating it with yourself. I love it so much. Yeah.
Well, that's honestly, like, now that we're talking about it, those types of interactions are my absolute favorite. Like, I love just connecting. And actually, this has been happening to me more and more. Like, when I walk down the street, like, I often am walking somewhere, like I'm going to, I walk everywhere because I don't have a car down here in the city. And like a couple years ago, whenever I would walk somewhere, I would have my head down in my phone. I wouldn't want to make eye contact with people. Like, I would always just kind of be distracted. And now it's like a game for me. It's like, how can I hold like my light, and how can I want to connect with as many people as possible as I'm walking. And it's funny because there will be some people who you can tell they do not want to make eye contact. Like, they'll almost catch my eye, and then they'll be like, like, that is too scary. But then there's some people who, like, you'll connect and they'll literally start talking to you from down the street. Like, they'll, like, literally halfway down the street, you lock eyes and they'll be like, hey, how's your day, sweetheart? Okay. Like we're like already having a conversation before we even get close enough to have a conversation, basically. And it shows you how like when you're open to connect, like, first of all, you can influence someone down the freaking street. They will see you, they will can feel you, they will connect with you, and you can talk to someone like you know them. Like it is not we're not strangers. Like we're not. It's like when you open your heart and actually like put yourself out there to connect, it's like you will recognize and you will feel like that soul recognition that I was talking about, even from the eye contact from the other story. And so it's like, it's really amazing how you can brighten someone's day just from actually looking at them and being like, hi. It's like, it makes someone feel so not alone, you know, it makes, and it's like, and then when you do that for someone, it makes you feel not alone. It makes you feel connected because like, that's what we're all looking for, you know, we're looking for connection. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we are all looking for that connection, and and it's really lovely that you brought up that, you know, you're it's a game for you now to like to see how many people you can connect with, because you know the new moon just passed, and I try to twice a month new moon to set intentions, and the full moon to let go of what no longer serves me. And my new moon intentions this month were to connect and speak to as many people and things as I can, because I like to speak to trees and like speak to the outside. I love speaking to trees, but yeah, so like that's my new moon intention, and I just love that you brought that up, because it's definitely what I'm focused on doing for the you know, forever, but definitely for the next couple of weeks. It's my focal point.
That's even, I mean, what just came up for me is, about that for you. I think this is for you is, do you ever talk to, well, first of all, I've also been trying to be conscious of like trying to talk to everything, including like angels, guides, and my spirit team, because like before this past month, I really would always forget to do that. Like I would forget to ask for help. I would forget to talk to them. And I've, you know, heard so many times, it's like, they can't help you if you don't ask for help. Like they can't help you if you don't ask for help, because it's a free will universe, like that you need to ask. So I've really been trying to do that a lot. And I don't know if like that's something you do or like think to do, but that is really powerful, because when you do ask for that help, it's like recognizing that you have a very specific intention that you want to see manifest, or that you want an answer to. And then second, it's like you're recognizing that there is help. You're recognizing that you're not alone. And so it really serves like multiple purposes. But sorry, the thing that came up for you specifically was, so I just started a podcast, which I just posted about in the Facebook group. And I just started a podcast with another positive head named Ambi, who is like a psychic and has been communicating with spirits since she was 5. And she's been like on the podcast that we created together. She has been channeling this Arcturian being. Like it's basically like he describes himself as like our star family. Like he's like our galactic family. Okay. And it's like this being, it's really wild. But so he's this being that is his job or his intention is to just help us, ascend, is like help us understand like how we can live our lives better and feel happier. And anyway, he's been talking to me, or I've been talking to him through Ambi while we record this podcast. And he's been trying to get me to like, to talk to him and believe that he's answering, like to talk to him and actually believe that someone is there answering, and actually tune into that. And so what popped up for me when you said that your intention is to talk to as many people and things as you can is, I wanted to ask you, do you talk to non-physical things or entities or anything?
Yeah, I do. I when I meditate, I usually go. I usually focus my conversation or questions or whatever it may be to consciousness in general. But there are times. Actually, okay. So when I got the card reading done at 16. I call her my aunt, but I recognize them as family friends. She asked me if I believed in angels. I was, at 16, I was like, yeah, I believe in angels, but I was never really brought up religious, so I don't really know what my whole point of view is on God and all of that. Well, she told me that I should really, or that Archangel Michael and Ralph want me to speak to them. They want me to communicate with them. And so I've really, that is the number one thing since that card reading that I've held on to the most. I pray to Archangel Michael and Ralph whenever I'm feeling, just super weighted and super anxious or scared. There are times when, even if it's the silliest thing, I'll just be like, please, we'll be okay. I know you got me. I know you love me. We're going to be okay. And then I'll always say thank you afterwards. And then the minute I say thank you, there's just always this rush of calm that just goes over me. So I love speaking to angels. I've recently tried reconnecting with fairies. I listened to Brandon's episode about the fairy lady.
That popped into my head. That's weird. That's what popped in my head when you were talking. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This connection with fairies. I was told, I was in 4th grade, and my friend in 4th grade, her name is Selena. She's beautiful. I don't know if she'll ever hear this, but I love her. She,
Hi, Selena.
She just randomly one day at school told me that I had fairies following me. And this is I'm 9 or something. And I instantly believed it. I was like, yeah, I do. I know I do. This is what I've been feeling all my life. Feeling like I'm not alone. It's probably the fairies. This makes sense.
Yes.
So there was a time period when I was 9 to 10 that I was offering these leaf flower treats that we were creating to fairies, and we were talking to fairies. And after hearing Brandon's episode, it all came back to me out of nowhere, and I was like, crap, I have to reconnect with the fairies. I need to start talking to them again. This was a thing that was actually, a part of me when I was a kid, and it really resonated with me.
Yeah. Have you? I feel like you really do need to do that, because seriously, when that's what popped up in my head, a fairy, when I was saying I feel like this is for you, I saw a fairy.
Oh my god, I can't stop giggling right now, because there's just something about fairies that are definitely I was told also, this is actually a year ago around this time, I was in Oregon for Rainbow Family Gathering. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I do know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was there last year. We were on our way up, and we were at Mount Shasta, stopping in there for a little bit. And my friend, Sierra, just looks at me and she's like, Travis and I have been talking lately, and we think that you're a descendant from the fairies. And I was like, that's the most random thing anyone's ever told me. So yes, I have tried to reconnect with the fairies. I love lately. I've been sitting outside in my grass backyard and just laying there and just, I'm talking to the bugs that are crawling by, and I found a dandelion, the ones that you blow on and make wishes. I'm starting to call them fairy wishes now because of the fairy lady from Brandon's episode. So I'm really trying to channel that energy and bring that back into light for myself.
Good. Yeah. I feel like that's like you're saying, that's a big thing for you, or that's some sort of, I don't know, key or something for you. Maybe fairy art. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about painting fairies, but I think that's where my ego or self-doubt is starting to trickle in, because I think to myself, I'm I've never painted a body or anything, living. All my art's pretty abstract,
maybe,
but you're totally right.
Well, maybe it could be because actually there's somebody in this group. I don't know who it is. And if you're listening, post in the group and let me know again, because I don't remember. There's someone in this group who has had a pink fairy around them their whole life that shows up in literally all of their pictures. And they posted several pictures, and you can see like it is crazy. Like it's in every picture, or it's in many pictures, and it's always like right around her and her family. And the fairy kind of looks like it's like a pink purple color, and it's kind of like this. It looks like it's moving so fast that you can't really see the body. Like you can't really see the body, but you see the kind of shape of the wings in these like splashes of color. So maybe you could do like an abstract, like splash of color, like wings, and then it could be kind of like an abstract fairy. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas to you.
No, I just got chills from that actually.
Ooh.
So like, I really think I would love whoever it is that has these pictures. I would love to see them in the Facebook group and see what you're talking about, because that literally like sent these like goosebumps through my body.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm going to experiment with that and see what I'll feel to do, because I really do want to start painting fairies. That is definitely something.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I feel like this is like something that you've been like being led to or something like that. Maybe this was like the message for you to paint the fairies, just like we were talking about. How everyone has
honestly,
a message for you.
It might be. It honestly might be. I really feel like this whole positive podcast journey, just finding it and being able to be on the show, I feel like this entire thing has been a message for me to, get out of my shell, because I would never do something like this like a few months back, But
I'm so happy you
this
did.
isn't. Yes, I am too. I really am.
Oh, it's so awesome. I've loved this conversation. This has been so fun and like kind of different than what we usually talk about. And I love it all. So we're actually, time has flown. We're coming to the near end of an hour, but, I want to ask you a quick question, or just one of the questions that I like to ask is, what is like one thing that you think would help every positive head to know or understand as they continue on their own journey?
I think one thing that I've definitely grasped on accepting is the fact that we all go through, while awakening, we all go through these periods of downtime, I like to call it, where you don't really feel awake, or you don't really feel like you're progressing in any way. And like, everything just kind of feels like it's at a halt. And, it's kind of almost worrisome sometimes, because you're like, wait, what just happened? I just experienced all this crazy stuff, and now it's all of a sudden like stopped. I think everyone should know that that's just part of the journey, because I've experienced it. I woke up when I was 16, and I experienced falling out of that and not really connecting on it. And then I started like really getting down on myself for not progressing in that way. And then out of nowhere, all of this progression has just started out of nowhere. And it's like, it's just part of the journey. You take it and you learn from it. I don't know. I'm getting like breathless right now.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think everyone should just know that it's part of the journey, and everyone's going at their own pace, and we're all going to get there. We just have to support each other and love each other and come together instead of, being divided.
Totally. And exactly what you're saying is like, having those periods of downtime, it's like it's like I think I said this on my P-Head Posse episode, where like, it's like you can't, you need to, it's like a roller coaster. Like if a roller coaster was just all peaks, then you would never have the fun of going down, into the valley. Like you would never have that contrast, which was actually like the fun of the roller coaster. You would never have, the comparison. You would never have the like rush of the feeling. And so it's like, yeah, these periods of downtime or these periods of like hard times are what help you like ascend into the amazing times, because you really start wanting things, you really start focusing on things. And so totally
I really do feel like from those experiences too, like everything, once you come out of it, and everything is just so much more beautiful. Like it just has a different beauty to it and a different appreciation. And spiritual journeys are just so beautiful in general, and I don't really think I've ever been grateful of it, or as grateful of it as I am now. And I think that's really important for people to, be grateful of.
Yeah. Oh, Absolutely, 100%. 100% to just enjoy where you are, because honestly, like, you're always going to be going somewhere, and it's like if you're constantly looking at somewhere that you're not and wishing you were there, then you're never enjoying your life ever. So enjoy where you are, even if it's somewhere that you don't want to be. Find ways to enjoy it, because soon it's going to be gone, and you don't want you. The key to moving forward is to enjoy where you are. That's the key.
Yeah.
Even if it's not where you want to be, find a way to enjoy it, and you will move forward. So,
100%.
Well, Tori, this was amazing. Is there I don't know if you want people to contact you. Do you want people to reach out? If people want to reach out to you for some reason, where can they reach out to you?
I do have an Instagram. It's Tori Toast. It's Tori Toast. A lot of it is personal pictures, but I am starting to post a lot more of my art on there since I've been creating so much more recently. So if anyone wants to check out my art, it's Tori Toast. Yeah.
Tori Toast, like bread?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that's Tori with an I, by the way, Tori.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Well, awesome. Yeah, I will be checking that out. I will be following you on Instagram. I really enjoyed this conversation, Tori, and I know the listeners will too. And yeah, this was amazing. Amazing. So thank you for taking the time and for, like you said, coming out of your shell and wanting to share your story, because it's important that we all share our stories.
Indeed, definitely. Thank you so much, Alexa. This was definitely a blessing in my life, and it was really, really wonderful talking to you.
Awesome. Okay, well, till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week's episode. If you're a listener with a story to share and are interested in being featured on a future episode of this special series, you can email me at alexa@positivehead.com. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear Brandon constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration, and if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place we know of to do it. Period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Otherwise, tune in next Friday for another P-Head Posse episode. And until then, as Brandon always says, journey well.